Actually, my first role ever, like first time being on camera, was Mayans, which is a spinoff of Sons of Anarchy. That was like my first time ever being on a set, being on camera. I've done commercials for Nike, Foot Locker, US Bank. And now I just got introduced to the world of music publishing, which is the more business side of music.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a great episode of Let's Get Creative, where we feature all kinds of artists from across the world. Dancers, singers, music producers, filmmakers, chefs, you name it, we got it. Stay tuned and listen to our next guest as you get inspired. Enter into the world of creativity. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Let's Get Creative. We are here with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Espinoza. I am from Los Angeles, California. I am a music producer, actor, and I'm also CEO of 714 Publishing. And I'm excited to be here.
We are just so excited to just dig in deep and try to talk about who you are as a person, as an artist, and how that influences your work. So I was just curious, how long have you been interested in the field that you're in? Was it just immediately, or was it a gradual thing?
I could break that down by sections, actually. So when I was about 14, that's when I started creating music. I didn't really take it serious till I was 18. At first, it was just music, producing. And then I went to LA Film School. I learned about engineering. And then by doing that, I was introduced to different, technical aspects of music. And then I quickly realized that wasn't for me, the technical aspect of it. I recently got into acting February 2020 is when I got my first gig, but then everything was paused because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
So for 6 or 7 months, Hollywood was shut down. Music was going nothing. Luckily, I had a city job at the time, so I was able to still make income. And little by little, I started, when Hollywood started opening back up, I started getting more roles, whether it was actually my first role ever, my first time being on camera was Mayans, which is a spinoff of Sons of Anarchy.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah.
And that was my first time ever being on a set, being on camera. I thought I was going to be background, but I was background, but I had a principal background role, if you will. So I was right on A camera, as they call it. And since then, I fell in love with acting. I love being creative, bringing a character to life. So I've done multiple shows, from American Horror Story, Mayans, obviously, Gordita Chronicles, which is on HBO. I've done commercials for Nike, Foot Locker, US Bank. And now I just got introduced to the world of music publishing, which is the more business side of music. And I started my company this March of 2023. And right now I'm working on getting sync licensing, because eventually I do want to sign artists to my publishing company so I can help them. Because, a lot of people where I come from don't have this information. So I'm trying to be that bridge, if you will, to help them. So I know it's a long explanation, but I'm sorry.
No, that's perfect. We honestly, it goes in deep into who you are and what motivates you and your passion. So that's awesome. So it was kind of a little bit of a roller coaster, but then you finally got your stability of
Right.
Okay, I finally want to be this. Do you have any specific works that you're extremely proud of, top of your head?
Yes, actually, yes. Acting wise, going back to Gordita Chronicles, because I felt personally so empowered when I got to set, because it was an all Latino cast, from the crew to the cast, hater, and obviously we're everywhere, but to see us in that scope and to see us get that shine, if you will, it honestly made me feel so
Is
you can
excited.
see I'm getting smiley right now, and I just felt so good about that. And second would definitely be the first commercial I ever did. The first commercial I ever did was for, I think it's excuse me, I think it's KCRW Radio. which is based
Got
here in
you.
Santa Monica, and that was like my first commercial ever. And how it happened, it was fate because I remember around that time I was like, man, I got to get a commercial. How do you get commercials? And
Seriously, yeah.
I submitted for something. It just said background role, but they come to find out it was an actual commercial. So I was like, oh wow, like that's crazy how that
Yeah.
worked out. So off top, I think those two, because I know sometimes as people we get in our head like, when is this going to happen? This needs to happen now. I've been working at this for a long time, but I would definitely say over the past 2 to 3 years, I've grown much more closer, if you will, to manifestation, and everything happens when it's supposed to, not when you want it to. And
Yeah.
I've noticed as I've taken a step back and just be patient, but at the same time persistent, it does
Mhm.
happen, you know? So I think off the top of my head, those are like the main three. You know, musically,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten my big break yet, if you will. Like I've gotten a few placements here and there, but not a huge one, you know. So I'm still
I'll
working on
start
that.
from
Hopefully,
somewhere. No,
yeah.
we
Oh
all
yeah,
start
for
from
sure,
somewhere. So
for
it's like
sure.
we can't expect success overnight, but
Right,
it's awesome like when we get those like little things and then they transform into bigger things.
right,
And then
right.
that's where the exciting stuff is. I kind of want to talk about like I'm so interested in like having like a room because like in my internship at Mucho Más Media, it was the first time that I had like Latinos and Latinas in the room. So creating like ideas, trying to come up with like the best like concept as possible. And it was really good because like I've never experienced that before. So I think that that's kind of the same wavelength that we're on of just like
Hmm.
it was the most like impactful experience, mostly because we're seeing people like us.
Right.
And you know, if we go to any other like studio or it's not representative of
Yeah,
the culture
yeah.
and stuff, so it's kind of like having that like being able to read stuff in Spanish, Spanglish, all of this stuff, it's really like you
No,
know what I mean.
it is.
Yeah.
And even going back to, like I said, the Gordita Chronicles set, it was
uh
amazing because it was Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans,
Solos,
Salvadorians, like
yeah,
all of us
yeah,
just
yeah.
there. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like from us to the crew to the food. I'm like, wow, like,
The
damn, this
food. Oh my
and this
gosh.
is
I
for
can only
HB.
imagine just like
Oh
a
God.
bit of everything,
I,
from
I think I
yeah,
gained like 5 pounds that day for eating so much. And I was like, well, and it's not like we're doing like this is for HBO Max, you know. So
uh-huh.
we're really here doing this. So hey, I met a lot of people, Eva Longoria was there. So
Hmm.
it was fun.
I'm excited for you for that. That's cool. Right now, do you have any like what are your influences? I want to know just kind of like, okay, growing up,
Hmm.
what have you like, are there any role models, artists, etc.? And how do they shape your work today?
Growing up, I grew up with my uncle. Like I grew up in a single parent household. And then we moved to my uncle's house because times were rough. My uncle, he listened to a lot of jazz music and a lot of funk music. So early inspiration came from that. So when I first started making music around 14, obviously I was influenced by that. And a lot of people, it was mostly like jazz music I was making, jazz influenced with hip hop, if you will, or hip hop influenced with jazz, however you want to word that. But at first it was my uncle, and then my mom, of course, seeing my mom work like that hard to, I guess, just get by. I don't want to say it like that and minimize what she did, but to see her work that hard and not complain, even when times got extremely hard. Trust me when I say there were some rough, dark times. Um, my uncle, cousins throughout the years. I grew up in South Central LA, so it was a lot of gang violence. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I had a lot of family who were gangbangers, but instead of pulling me to that, it was more so like trying their hardest to push me away from it because they saw me enjoying being creative, whether it was music or I used to write poems, short songs, short stories. They always supported me in that. And then musically, I got so many influences, from Dr. Dre to Knife Wonder. I don't know if people know what that is, but Knife Wonder, Dr. Dre, Battle Cat, DJ Quick. Um, I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of Spanish music, I really started listening to till recently. But but that's mainly where a lot of my influences come. And then obviously just people I come across every day. I feel like influence can come from anybody at any given time. Even people you meet who are your little kids or people our age or older. I try to keep an open mind when I talk to people because they might show you a point of view of something you didn't really see from before. So I try to draw inspiration from different people every day. because I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know everything. So
Yeah, no, that's just how
yeah,
it's gotta be. We can't expect, to know everything because that's just our ego talking,
right,
and it's like
right,
it's so unrealistic. But if you are like the thing is like about being an artist is that you have to change too.
right.
Like it's not like you stay the same, could produce the same artwork, etc. No, you gotta like evolve with
Hmm.
the times and with yourself artistically.
Right.
Are you producing any work? Because you're influenced by so many things.
Hmm.
Are you have you produced any like hybrid genres of music, kind of like where you're putting in a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Yeah, cool.
Yes,
That's talk
actually
about that for me.
currently right now, I'm working on 3 albums.
Nice.
One of them is called City Nights, and the entire what I would call it is like cyberpunk pop EDM together.
That's so
Um,
cool. I've
like
never
like
heard of that combo, but that's cool.
I've actually like on this one, I when I tell you on these three, I tried to really elevate my game. Like I wrote music and I had live people like play instruments live on it. I'm trying
Mhm.
to come with different sounds, and that project is actually done. I'm just getting it mixed and mastered right now. It should be out on DSPs, Apple Music soon. But that one's called City Nights. That's a mixture. So if you can imagine the weekend, Daft Punk, who else would I say? Like all like those genres mixed together. And I think I
Yeah.
did it pretty well. I let a few people hear it already, and it was like, wow, like this is
They're like,
actually pretty
yeah, this
good.
is so good. Yeah,
This is really
that's
good.
always the best, when people are like,
Yeah.
damn, this is great,
And especially because it's like I took a chance. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna like hit, or people are like, what is he trying to do here? But I think I did
Yeah.
well because it's a perfect blend of like um synthetic music sounds like synths and things like that mixed with
Yeah.
live music like pianos, violins, things like that. So it's a to me it's a good combination.
Yeah.
And then my
That's
second
cool.
project is called 1990. I've actually been working on that since 2020, but because 1 minute, okay, it's gonna be an all R&B album. Then I changed it. No, I got to do both. And I'm finally at a point where it's like, okay, you know what, just do you. Try to find, just work with talented artists, bring the best you can. But it will be more centered around, R&B, hip hop, a little bit of Afro beat on there, Spanish music, obviously. That's gonna be on there. I got some Spanish artists I'm working with. And the third one is more so like I'm not gonna lie, I just did the third one strictly to try to get licensing. So like music you hear like at a Laker game, like that hard techno or something
Uh,
like that. So that was just kind of like a wild card. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
So, and I feel good about what I'm working on right now. And I have a couple of songs coming out with a couple of artists too. I can't really speak
Yeah.
on it yet because I don't know if they want me to. Because
Oh, okay, no,
a lot of these people
whatever.
are secretive about
Whatever's
stuff.
fine.
So
Yeah.
my upbringing is very interesting because
Hmm.
even though I'm from South Central LA, my mom's obviously Mexican,
Hmm.
and I grew up in with my uncle who was a black man.
Hmm.
So being introduced to certain genres of music and then getting that part, and then
Hmm.
being introduced to my cousins on his side, but then my
Hmm.
mom's side, her family, it was like a perfect blend, if you will. So
Yeah.
again, I drew from both cultures musically, all kind of things, and then now that I'm starting to come into myself and accept who I am, I'm able to blend these two. And then, like I said, when I hear sounds, I can hear a little ding, and it just clicks something in my head. I'm already making a beat. So again, I just think from pulling from all of that, I'm able to create what I create. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't even think it's me creating these things because like they'll look at me and first they'll hear the music, and then they'll look at me and go, "How did you? Yeah, like you, yes,
Like
like
honestly,
what?"
like that's so like I mean, it's a little bit like upsetting, but at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, they're really vibing with it, I
Yeah, no,
guess. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Because I was like, "Wait, how you did this?" Like, yes, I
Yeah, like
did.
why not?
Like, why? Yeah,
Why
exactly. Like,
not?
what are you trying to say? Like, what? But
Yeah.
honestly, at first when I used to get that, I did used to get a little like upset. Like, wait a
Upset.
minute,
Yeah.
what's going on here? But then unfortunately, in this day and age, it's like people automatically assume you need to sound like something because of how you look, or you need
Yeah.
to dress a certain way how you look, or you need to no, you can't do this. You can only do that by how you look or where you're
Hmm.
from.
Hmm.
And no, like I'm not here for be a part of the stigma, if you will, or be a part of that. No,
Nonsense,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And if you're uncomfortable with my art, then
Bye.
yeah,
See
like
ya.
don't listen to me. Like don't watch me. Don't
Yeah.
listen to me. Like I'm not gonna
Mhm.
stop doing what I'm doing. And getting that grit or that sense of who you are from my mom. My mom has never till this day, she's not shy of who she is. She's very proud of what she had to do, what she went through because it got me and my sister to where we're at. My sister works corporate with I can't say the company, but she works corporate for a major company. I'm in acting in the industry doing my thing, and that came from watching my mom, learning from my mom, my uncle too, and yeah, just pulling from all those aspects, man. I'm proud of where I am right now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
definitely
so
proud of where I
good.
am right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've only have a few more minutes left. I'm
Mhm.
just wondering if you have any like last words, any projects you want to like I know we talked a little bit about your projects, but
Yeah.
like do you have any advice for somebody who wants to be an artist but can't get out of the rut? You know what I mean? The rut of society of being like, hey, it's almost impossible. You got to be lucky. You got to work 10 times harder than everybody. What is your advice?
My advice for people, just finish. Meaning, if you get invited to a gig, if you get invited to a show, an event, whether it's mainstream, small, doesn't matter. Go, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to come across. You never know what you're going to learn. Because again, just being hired as a projector operator, which is just hitting the keyboard on the MacBook, I sat in on a whole panel, learned from beginning to end how to start my own publishing company. And also too, check your ego. Like check your ego. Don't have an ego. Obviously, don't take no shit, but
Yeah.
don't have an ego, because my thing is this: I have a saying. Anything I do, music, acting, whatever, it could be driving, something simple. I don't go into anything with intent of being better than anybody else, because I feel like when you do that, that's when you start feeding your ego. Don't let ego and industry stuff change your perspective of life either, because a lot keep remind yourself of things that's important to me. I can't tell you how many times I can't wait to come home because I want to spend time with my family or just be home. You got to do the industry stuff, obviously, but I love being with my family, my loved ones, whether at the park. Again, don't lose sight of what's really important. And you'll be fine. That's honestly all I gotta say.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. That would be it. That is the end of this show. Thank you for having me, or thank you for just joining and like, just
Yeah.
talking about your journey. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.